Burgard Rippey. I'm over at Airstream, Jackson Center, Ohio, visiting their Heritage Center, which is brand new and opened here this year. This display here is kind of showing the Art Deco movement of maybe the 20s and 30s and how Art Deco was inspired. And is this a napkin holder? I'm not sure, but it carried over into cameras. It's kind of a hard spot. But they have it's a cool tree here. Yucca tree. Cool displays in their new museum, well thought out, a long time coming. They were building this during the pandemic and everything. But yeah, they're showing kind of this Art Deco, streamlined, modern. Now here's a blueprint to this guy, which looks a lot like so he tried this, and it's like a sportsman Scotty, a Scotty sportsman. It's the canned ham 12 foot, 14 foot, and instead of rivets it has screws. And it's an Airstream though. That was one of the first and only ones that he built right around the time of that granddad. And it's got the screen, windows. They were kind of kitchen delete in the beginning. I'm not sure what's going on up there. Very rudimentary or a door on here and everything. And then he went to this. I think he was inspired by Bolus, and he went to what we consider, more of an Airstream, a silver bullet. This one's interesting. They went to these like a bank vault door. It has a big window and a screen, and a window in the front, and a window in the back to where you can see through this guy. A classic propane system. (1948). So after the war, and a vintage Boulder Dam. So that's the name that preceded Hoover Dam, is the same one. And so that sticker was from the beginning before it was constructed. They changed the name to Hoover, Zion, Bryce, like the most beautiful places to kind of travel to, and that's where this one. And this is completely original cushions even, okay? Original galley, stainless, beautiful, and it's painted pink in here. An old radio here. A cool heater. My shadow. Kind of a cast, kind of a roaring 20s, but 1948, they kind of were going with the stuff that they had, and so 41 about put them out of business. The Depression put everyone out of business, but these guys, and quite a story to the ownership of the company. But part of what he was doing in the 50s, and like Elvis Presley, when he come back from Germany, and he was going from Texas he called his mom. They had a phone in their car. But this guy, he had this thing in the 50s. It was called a recorded sound scriber. And it looks like a little record player. And this is the tapes from it.
Andy. So this guy blew some tires down here, and he had to buy a standard 715 tires. Now when he's got these tires in there, where he bumps the top of it to your wheel arm. So the big problem, now what shall he do?
Looks like a Polaroid camera.
And he can't get any standard trailer tires in this country. To me, that we should use standard.
But it was a dictation machine that he used, and when he was in Africa, and he sent the disc back to the United States.
I think they're hard even to get any place out. In a lot of towns in the United States, and only in the great big cities can you get these new funny size towers. Also, I think we should have plenty of room in our wheel arms. It doesn't cost anymore. I don't know if you can interfere with the inside store space about this. But in muddy little country, really muddy country, Well, fill up between the tickets. If you got a real tight hole there, it doesn't work at all. We've got plenty of room on our wheel.
So the well-to-do people actually had mobile communication in the 50s. So it had to have been really expensive. Now this kind of reminds me of that Baker, Oregon. Baker City. So Wally probably had a ranch out there somewhere from his family. This reminds me of the thermometers at the... Some of this stuff reminds me of the Antique Center. And see, here's a Mercedes-Benz pulling. Some old cars from the 1969. You pull your Airstream with a car. So we did a dictation machine. This is from his cousin. He had a beautiful cousin. She reminds me of Amelia Earhart. But his cousin worked for the company for a long term, and she toured in caravan with Wally and his wife and everyone. And she acquired this. This is a life archive donated to the Heritage Center from Helen, Wally's first cousin, then the nephew. Some of the artifacts they picked up on tour. She bought this beautiful sweater over like towards Finland, Norway or something. Yeah, these are they look like milking stools, and these are what they camped with, and they bought these in South America. And she kept them for all those years. I think I have that book here. Not sure, but it's a pretty good portrait. Wally buy him and his dog back in 1899. Wow, that would be worth tons. And BP had this is from overseas in Africa, but they still had that logo back then. And then a beautiful piece of sterling here that Helen wore personally. And a beret from the 60s, and her doing some working for the company, I suppose. But her lifelong archive donated to the Heritage Center here on display in Jackson Center, Ohio. Thanks for watching, everyone. Beauregard Rippey.